Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Drivers Room Endurance Championship. I'm your host, Kimaru, and today we are in Season 4, Round 4, and Tier 1. Coming to us today is the beautiful circuit of Nürburgring Grand Prix Circuit in the GR2 Super Monsters. So, let's take a look at the grid and see where everyone qualified for today. And yeah, let's get down to some racing action on the German circuit. Starting off, we have Stig in pole position. Some say that he likes to eat live baby crocodiles and punt babies. All we know is he's called VQS Dawson, aka Stig. In second place, it's going to take a little while to get down to the racers. We have Plux the Duck, Quack Quack, the captain of Made for Racing. In third position, we have Jeff James, or Adventure Racing, as he calls himself, in third. Fourth place, we have our Drivers Room Endurance Championship creator, Mr. Gadget 334, the leader of the Team Sigma. Here we have Drift Spice, also known as Awesome Alex, in fifth position. I think it's fifth. Yep. Goldfish memory and all that. In sixth position, we have Mr. Sean. In seventh, we have Lorcas. In eighth, we have Mr. DJ Rice. Next position down is another M4R member, Mr. Berkey Baby. Next position down, we have Muller. Then we have Senna. And are you ready, Ben? Let's see how our Canadian does today, and let's hope he doesn't get squeezed into some unnecessary damage, as it usually happens for him. Let's get down to the race. Alright, we are about ready to get this show started. We are on a rolling start today, and we have an additional rule. Everyone has to follow the pit line out of the pit lane exit. If you cross the pit line, it will incur in time penalties. So let's hope everyone can abide to that rule. It's a rule I find kind of stupid, but in the first place, it is also a rule that needs to be here. As we see, VQS doesn't come down to turn one with oh, and I think Gadget smacked Jeff James up in the ass. Yeah, I think he smacked. We'll go back to that in a moment and take a look. As we follow, I'm just gonna make sure everything. Nope. A little wonky camera work. We got Dawson going into the lead straight away. We have James up into third. Alex has gotten up into fourth because of Gadget. A little tight into turn one. We have Sean and Lorcas following Gadget closely behind. And Mr. Rice is behind there. Berkey Baby and Muller. Looks like everyone's gotten through cleanly except for a couple of guys in the front. Back to Dawson. Looks like he's clawing himself out a lead straight away. It's probably going to be a good race between these two. As we see, James is struggling to stay ahead of Alex. That rear arrow isn't doing him any favors at the moment. Following Dawson now to complete lap 2. Or lap 1, I mean. Start lap 2. Taking a look back now at Gadget from his point of view. He brakes, but oh, I think he didn't hit the brakes soon enough and he smacked James up the behind. Come back to lap 2 again. We have Dawson still in the lead with Plux following closely. Big gap down to Adventure Racing and Alex. Looks like Alex is hanging on James's ass for the moment, without James being able to drive any faster, unfortunately. And we have Gadget, and Gadget's misfortune seems to continue. In the past few races now, he's had damage every single race in the first lap, so let's hope he can get rid of that curse in future races. And looks like no, just misreading from the screen. Ricey is closing in on Lorcas. Berkey is sticking with Ricey. Muller and Senna and Ben are way in the back, but at least Ben has gotten away from any damage so far, and that is a good thing. Come back to Dawson, starting lap 3, and he has a fastest lap, I think. We're gonna go to the telemetry. 1:46.171. And it didn't show on the timing board. But just look at how Dawson is just pulling away from Plux. And as we all know, Plux is one of the fastest drivers we have in Tier 1. Oh, they're going way wide there. But Dawson is just that tad faster. Don't know where he gets his speed from. He might be siphoning Turbosmith's fuel. I think we need a rule in driver's room where nitro fuel isn't allowed anymore, so that guys like this don't get a massive advantage. Plug still following, and we have James still in third, and looks like he's getting himself a little gap down to Alex, just a tiny bit, to stave him off. Look at this. Oh, I think James is really struggling at the moment. You wouldn't think that rear aero damage is that bad, but he's really lost a lot up to Plux and the Stig. Here we have Gadget still hanging on, and we have Sean. Oh, taking a look. Look at me, Gadget. I'm right here in the back, and I'm about to pass you. And Sean doing his absolute best now to stick with Gadget, and hopefully Gadget's got himself a little penalty as well. Sticking with Gadget and hoping he can just snag that lead. I know how good Gadget is with a damaged car. It seems like it's something he's accustomed to by now, and he can still benefit from driving out on track, but it will be difficult. As you can see, he's just dropping off to James and Alex. Pretty clean so far from everyone, not a lot of action, and we have Senna. He is up into 10th place. What's happened to Muller? Muller probably has been somewhere. Very clean so far. Not a lot of action, as I said. As we see Dawson just stretching his lead down to Plux. Maybe we will have some Tusken Raiders on the track somewhere. Just popping Dawson's tires would be convenient for Plux. And Alex still hasn't been able to pass James, but these cars have such an equal pace that it's very difficult to get a good pass. They have their strong and weak sides, but it's not as easy to pass on this track. Alex needs a better line out of a corner just to get past. But he isn't letting off James that easy though. Could this be where he makes a move? No, he's too far behind. He might just be abiding his time. Waiting for the opportune moment to strike. As we see, Lorcas has gotten ahead of Sean. And Sean's got some damage. He's probably been hit up the ass. Possibly. And yeah, it looks like maybe there's been an incident between Berkey and Sean. It looked like Berkey was about to pass Sean for a second. Ricey is in striking distance, just waiting to pounce. We have Ben up in the 10th place, and Muller and Senna is down. And wow, what's happened to Senna? Oh, just look at, yeah, Senna's out of control. Might not be a strong track for these guys. Nürburgring, for me, the Grand Prix circuit is very difficult for me, but I love the Nordschleife. So I always suck at this part of the track. But it is a good and enjoyable track, one of the most popular in the world, I would say. Oh, look at how wide Plux is. And he doesn't get a penalty for it. Oh, little tail slip from Plux's car. And we still have James in third. He's still staying there. His pit crew is probably cheering him on, telling him to stay out for as long as possible. And we're only 6 laps in, but look at the tire wear. Nürburgring is hard on the tires, and we have a 5 times multiplier on the tires. And I believe 2 or 3 on the fuel. Don't remember. Oh, look at how wide Alex is. Lorcas and Gadget has dropped down to 6th. I think his damage is really starting to mess with him. And another thing to notice, as I said in the previous videos, is that watch Gadget's tire wear. Compared to Lorcas, Gadget's tire wear is a lot better, and Gadget goes into the pits. Alex has also gone into the pits, trying to go for the undercut. And we have Berkey baby, DJ, all in the pits. Ben goes into the pits. Muller stays out. Senna goes into the pits. We have Dawson still out. Just look at the tire wear on his car. Now is the time to put the hammer down, Dawson, and stretch the lead as far as possible, and try and hold up Plux. Just don't do any mistakes. Very, very kind and funny guy, Mr. Dawson. Very, very skilled. What he does. Rarely does a mistake. We have Plux. Also a man that rarely does a mistake, but they do happen from time to time. I think that's unavoidable for any driver in racing. Accidents and mistakes will always happen to anyone. James is still staying out on his damaged rear. And we have Lorcas coming up behind. Lorcas is catching up to James. Will Lorcas be able to catch up? And as we see Dawson going into the pits and Plux coming out on the back finish straight. That doesn't sound right. Back finish. Start finish straight. There we go. Gotta correct myself. As we see Dawson coming out and he holds the line. And that puts Plux into first place. Dawson has some oh, Dawson took on fuel. Huh. Interesting strategy. As we see James still in third. Oh, might be struggling a lot with the NSX at the moment. Alex is coming up. Lorcas has been into the pits, so that's why he didn't catch up more. Gadget is right on Lorcas' heels. As we see Ricey in 7th. Looks like the majority of the field has been into the pits, gotten some new boots. Except for Muller, he's still staying out on Racing Soft. We have Ben coming up behind. Let's hope there's no incident between these two. And Senna in the back. Plux now coming up to end lap 8 and start on the 9th. A 1:46.393. Dawson now on Racing Soft. Let's follow Dawson for a single lap around this track. See how he copes with the track. Going really wide out of that corner. You gotta trust this car, as Plux would say. That was a lap with Dawson. As we come down to Alex, who has passed Adventure Racing, and James has been into the pits, got a tire change and some damage repaired. Gadget is smelling blood in the water behind Lorcas and will be ready to pounce within a few moments, I believe. And We have Ricey starting to catch up. Been out of trouble all race, so let's hope he can continue to do so. Shawnee down in 8th. We have Berkey in 9th, and Ben has gotten himself up into 10th place in the Moose Racing. Oh! Go easy on the power out of turn 1, guys. As we... oh, and Ben had a spin. Let's take a look at Ben, see what happened. I heard tire screeching. Oh, gets off on the gravel and loses the back end. Oh. Making it easier for Muller to crawl up behind and be ready to pounce any moment. Mr. Senna in action, trying to catch up to the two boys in front. They're probably in comms chat laughing and having fun. Plux in first. Coming up on the end of lap 13, we have Plux still in the lead with Dawson right behind. And let's see if Mr. Plux now... oh, he dives into the pits. Dawson staying out. He hasn't caught up a lot, to be honest. Following Plux out of the pits, he takes on no fuel. And sticks to the line, comes out right behind Dawson. We have Lorcas and Alex fighting. Lorcas on increasingly worn tires, and Alex might be able to pounce. Gadget in 5th, still doing good despite his little damage incident in lap 1, turn 1. We have Sean in 6th. Ricey. We have Muller back into 9th, and Ben goes into the pits. Senna has gotten some new boots. Let's follow the fight for first. I think that is where the action will be. Oh, look at how squirmy that car looks. Very difficult car to drive. I've been considering choosing it multiple times, but I can't adjust my driving style to this car. As we see Plux trying to show himself in the mirrors of Dawson. I'm here, I want to get through. You're mine. Your soul is mine, Dawson. Oh, and he goes on the inside before the chicane, and Plux is ahead of Dawson. Well, no, Dawson's not yielding. Dawson's not yielding. Dawson is a very tough cracker. Or tough nut to crack. There we go. I can say the words if I really try and really want to. Oh, shit. Alright, as we see Dawson sticking to the lines as he comes out of the pits. Now he is in chase mode. Lorcas dives into the pits. Tires weren't that worn. Ricey up in the 5th now. Or no, he comes out. Yo, he comes out in front of Lorcas. Oh, a little too much powder out of turn 1. Yes, we should see Sean in 7th. Berkey now in 8th. Ben. And we have Senna and, well, Muller is what I should have said here, not Ben. As we see Lorcas taking the fight to Ricey. Oh, looked like he missed his braking a little bit. Gadget in 4th. Love that carbon look. And he didn't really go that deep, and he gets a penalty for his troubles. Well, as I've said before, Gran Turismo Sport, the real penalty simulator. Alex in third. One of the Spice Boys. And Plux has set a new best lap time of 1:46.0. He sets a new sector best as well. Could this be another fastest lap from Plux? As we see Dawson. Don't know what Dawson's strategy is, but yeah. Mr. Sean. We have Berkey Baby in the house. We see Lorcas. I think Ricey's gotten ahead of Lorcas. I believe he has. Ooh. And Lorcas is not yielding. He's right up Ricey's back alley, goes for the move on the inside like we saw with Plux and Dawson, and he actually manages to make the move before the chicane. Good work from Lorcas, putting him back into 5th place. Sean still in 7th, trying to catch up to these two. Coming up on lap 20, we have Gadget was come out of the pits. Right in front of Ricey. Ricey's also been into the pits. We have Sean up into 5th, but on more older tires. Lorcas is chasing Alex. Alex has been into the pits, as we see with the race distance right now. So Lorcas will have to push as hard as he can to try and stick with Alex, but I don't think he should well, I don't think he should worry too much about Lorcas at the moment. We have Dawson still in 2nd place, and as we see Plux going into the pits for the 3rd time. Plux comes out, and yeah, right in front of Dawson, and they're both on fresh tires. And it doesn't look like Plux has taken on any fuel as well. So Dawson is driving with a heavier car. Maybe that's something he prefers. Maybe he's one fueling this entire race. Could be a good strategy if he's actually fuel saving. As we see Plux, he's under attack from the Stig. Take a look down the field, just take a look, see what happens here. We have Alex in 3rd, Lorcas 4th, Sean in 5th. We have Gadget in 6th, he's about to catch up to the guys. Ricey's trying to stick with Gadget for the moment. We have Berkey in 8th and Muller 9th. Ben is in 10th on very worn tires. He should last maybe a lap or 2 more. Senna with fresh tires. So let's stick with this fight. I think this is where the action is going to be. Dawson has a second or so to try and catch up to Plux. will say I love the older style NSX, but the 2016 version is starting to grow on me a little bit. I just, in my eyes, it doesn't really look like an NSX for me, but it is starting to grow on me, as I said. Dawson still not been able to do anything about Plugs. Plugs might have this one in the bag. As we see Lorcas and Sean going into the pits, Gadget moving up to 4th. Alex is way in front of Gadget at the moment. As we see Gadget and Ricey. Ricey is not letting go of Gadget's slip. Here we have Plugs again. Still a big gap to these two. Let's follow these through turn 1. Awesome Alex has now gone into the pits. Sean is chasing Lorcas. Rice is still sticking with Gadget. And I think... Oh! Gadget just manages to stay ahead of Alex. That moves Gadget up into 3rd place, and we have actually lost James. Well, since Alex is out on fresh tires, let's hope he doesn't fool himself by thinking it's easy to get ahead of Gadget, because it's not. I've raced against Gadget many times, and he is definitely a guy that's not easy to pass. We have Muller. Berkey's dropped to 9th. Senna in 10th. We have Ben in 11th. As we see Plugs catching up to Ben. Dawson coming right behind. He hasn't caught up a lot. I'll say that. As we're nearing almost the 15-minute mark remaining of the race. Yeah. Dawson hasn't caught up a lot. He has set a new best time though, 1:45.4. Gadget's gotten himself a big gap down to Alex. What's happened to Alex? Alex must have had a spin somewhere. Very unfortunate. Muller is up into 8th. Well, that position hasn't changed for the moment. As we see Dawson slowly creeping in. I don't think there's enough. Gadget now. He's got himself a big gap down to Ricey, and Ricey's running out of fuel. Might last for a few more laps as Ricey goes in and scratch those words. Lorcas will move up into 5th. Lorcas, I don't think, needs to pit another time, but that remains to be seen. Still around 15 minutes to go, 16 minutes to go. So we see Sean. Ricey now. Whatever Alex did, it didn't get him any damage. So let's hope the car's okay. Muller starting to run out of fuel. Tires needs a change as well. As we see Berkey, Senna in the back there, desperately in need for some fuel and tires. Ben should be okay, but as usual, he's been unlucky and dropped all the way to the back. And Plux is starting to run low on fuel. This will be Dawson's advantage. With more fuel in the tank and less to take on, probably nothing. Almost halfway in the tank, so yeah, I don't think Plux will, Dawson will take on any more fuel. As we see Gadget starting lap 26. Muller's gone into the pits. Lorcas. Lorcas going deep. Wow. I'm surprised he doesn't get a penalty from that. It seems to be the normal racing line, but damn. Sean in the number of the beast car. Ricey in the beautiful Rizla livery car. Tobacco paper. And we see Dawson into the pits. Is he actually taking on fuel? He is taking on fuel. Very surprising. I didn't think he needed to take on any more fuel. This is going to be interesting to see what Plux does, because now the real sprint begins. Dawson is now clear of all of his pit stops, and he has enough fuel in the tank to keep going with no problem. And Plux, he will have to refuel his car for at least 5 more laps. Will that be enough gap for him to still stay in first? As we see Gadget into the pits with 5% remaining on fuel, dropping down to 4th, 5th. As we see Lorcas looking low on fuel, and Sean should be good to the end. Gadget coming out now on fresh tires and new fuel. Ricey won't need another pit stop. I don't think Alex will need one either. Berkey might have to take care of those tires for another 12 or so minutes. We have Muller. He's cleared of his pit stops. I think Ben is cleared of his pit stops. Senna should be clear of his pit stops, and I'm losing my ability to speak. As we see Plux coming up to the chicane and is probably going into the pits. Let's take a look at where Dawson is. Dawson is very close. I don't think Plux will be coming out ahead of Dawson. 1% left. Let's see how much he takes on. As we see Dawson roaring down through the straight, and Plux is going out there. And we have Dawson up into first and Plux down to second. This looks to be Dawson's plan all along. Now he's probably just going to chase or run away with the win, unless something bad happens to Dawson. I'm a little unsure of the placings in the championship at the moment, but I think Plux is leading it. As I said before, these videos are going to be put out in a rapid succession, and I'm doing small edits, not the big ones. As we see, Lorca still staying ahead of Sean, and Lorca will have to go into his final pit stop momentarily. 10 minutes remaining of round 4. Been a very fairly clean race today. Not a lot of action as I would hope, but the Nürburgring isn't really a very easy track. It is very technical. I believe that is the right word. As we see the Gadget now catching up to these two in front, eager to get his third back. And both go into the pits, and Gadget moves back up into third with Ricey in fourth. I think this will be their ultimate finishing position. Taking a look down at Muller. Ben. He's got himself a second penalty for his troubles. And he moves over to the side to let Plux through. Yeah, you can stop blinking your frickin' blinkers now, Plux. Oh! Let's take a look at Ben. Let's see what happened. Did his brake fail? Oh! I think he locked his brakes. I think he actually locked his brakes. That's surprising. Maybe he has the the ABS on weak. Dawson still in first. Plux in second. I don't think Plux will be able to take on Dawson. As we see, DJ has gone into the pits. I think his tires and fuel would have lasted. Now he's dropped one position behind Sean. Ricey now just ahead of Lorcas. This will be a good old fight to the end, and we have Drift King Alex in the back of this pack. Wow, that kind of rhymed. Drift King Alex in the back of this pack. Ooh. Just looks a little strange from the replay angles at sometimes. There's not been a lot of overtakes in this race today. Like I said, it's quite difficult in these cars. Sean got himself a good gap down to Ricey. Gadget should be safe and secure in third with 6 minutes remaining. And Plux is counting up those penalties. Dawson hasn't really gained a lot on Plux, to be brutally honest. The fuel isn't that different from them either. Gadget. Oh, and Ricey clips the... No! Taking a look back at Ricey. Let's see what he does into the chicane. Oh! His car skips over the chicane and sends him flying into the wall. Oh, that's not the finish Ricey wanted. At least it's on the pit entry. Oh, not a good race for Ricey. Berkey might have a chance to take 7th from Ricey at the moment. The fuel is looking low though. Ricey comes out in 7th, managed to fix that damage and all. We have Muller in 9th. Had a few mistakes, but nothing that's killed the car. And look at Senna's tires. might take him a few seasons to get up to speed with the wheel and figure out his tire wear issues. Other than that, a very fast, strong racer. Just very unlucky at times. Same with Ben, very unlucky as well. And yeah, he's been in last for the entire, well, almost the entire race. We haven't seen much of him. As we're coming up with Dawson. Probably has this lap and one more to go. And coming up on the final lap. Plux is running low on fuel, but I think he's timed this with good margin. Gadget is also running low, but I think he should be okay for one last lap. Not the most exciting of races, to be honest. It's been... oh, and we see Alex just punting Lorcas in the back, and Alex gets himself a little aero damage in the front. Oh, late break into the hairpin. Very difficult corner to brake for. Such a hard braking zone. Oh, look at that. As we see Ricey. Let's hope he stays out of trouble for the last lap. This could be his last lap, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it until 4, 3, 2, 1. We are in our final lap. As we see Sean, he has finished the race. Dawson is coming up on the ending stages of lap 34. As we see Sean, Alex, and Lorcas have all finished the race. Ricey is coming home in 7th. We have Berkey in 8th. Muller will come home in 9th. Senna in 10th. And Ben in 11th. As we see Dawson clearing the chicane for the very last time to come home to a P1. Well deserved, Mr. Stig. As we see Plux coming into very strong 2nd as well. We have Gadget in 3rd. Let's see what. Alright, Ben and Senna are coming home. Thank you all for watching this race, and come back next week for another one. And until then, we will speak soon. And I'm your host, Kimaru, saying goodbye.